Well, got my morning coffee. What do I do today? Well, I guess PoE's still open. Uh, well, completed all my challenges. I don't really want to level a new character. What's on Reddit today? Yeah, that's the same old stuff on Reddit. Oh, I got an idea. I got a really good idea. Whoa, it's 45 degrees out right now? The snow is melting? I could go for a walk or anything like that? Oh my God. Let's enjoy our time, spend it wisely, not waste our entire lives grinding away at these games that tell us to. So there's really just 2 points here that I want to talk about that will allow you to beat every single video game in the world. So number one is set your own personal realistic goals and don't let the game systems, game developers reprogram those goals for you. An example of that I personally have been burnt by not following my own current advice is expansions or DLC or new raids or new dungeons or anything that might just be enhancing the grind, or maybe, loot boxes or anything like that, right? Giving you that FOMO as, lizard brain meat sacks, very, very vulnerable to these type of systems. And by building up the habit of always reevaluating how we are engaging with those goals and those systems and like what those developers are kind of throwing at us, we can then reflect on those things and make sure that we can, get some distance between that. A very good example of that is a game called Path of Exile that I play very often at twitch.tv/Subtractem every day around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every 3 months, a new league, which is what we call seasons in that game, is released. Often adds new abilities, big patch nodes, new dungeons, anything like that to do, new league mechanics. It's a very hyped thing that you can get really excited about, and you start new characters and it's like a whole new fresh grind. While I love the game and it's super, super great, and within those leagues, they have cosmetic rewards that you can do challenges for, but it's also an open-ended game and you can always make new characters and be grinding new stuff and, getting richer and more gold and money and all that stuff in the game, right? And the thing that I really want to encourage is set like very concrete goals here. If you go into that season or whatever of the game that you're playing and you say, you know what, my goal is to, take down this one mythic raid dungeon or whatever, right? Or get 10,000 gold or something like that. You set that concrete goal and you're always evaluating against that. It directs your play so that you're always working towards something, which can actually be more satisfying. And when you accomplish that goal, you feel like you reach something and you are then able to like quickly say, that was a satisfying end, instead of kind of waiting, kind of like a relationship. If you kept it going on too long and, it was like past its due date, know when to cut it off and just know that, okay, I kind of extracted all the fun that I can out of this season, this raid, this PvP experience, whatever, in whatever game you're playing. You can just kind of stop there, look back at that, that experience and say, that was a good time. And then you can excitedly look at the next game that you want to play. More easily hang out with friends or family or whatever, whatever is really important to you that you want to make sure that you're not regretting by spending all of this time that's undirected in these games that allows you to grind for basically infinity, right? And then point number 2, which is very, very closely related to this, is getting the distance from the game. Really important to always be evaluating those habits that might be kind of harmful and giving yourselves that separation of just like booting up, that's always having the game open and always booting it up. And like the first thing that you do is you walk into your room and you see the computer or the console, it's already turned on, you boot it up, and it's ready to go exactly where you were before. What I really care about the most is the holistic and healthy integration that we can have for games and the fun that we can have with those games as we integrate them into our lives. So if you saw my video last week about setting timers and stretching and ergonomics and thinking about how you're actually playing the game, like mechanically as a meat sack, like how you're actually playing the game, if you are not super excited about something and you don't want to just sit there and grind and you're bored, just turn off the game. And if anything, a little distance from that game will be healthy and good for you. If you are getting those inklings of just being a little disaffected, a little sad, a little just like bleh about playing the game, make yourself not play for 2 days, not just one day. Make yourself not play for 2 days. And I know this is like the absolute cliched, whatever, stupid line, but, touch some grass, right? Literally go for a walk, even if you just walk around your house or something, if you are able to walk. If not, at least just read a book or something like that. You know that feeling when you go on vacation and you're gone for like a week, or maybe it's like a 2-week vacation if you've ever been on like a long family trip or anything like that. And you come back and you sit down and you booted up your Super Nintendo or whatever. And that first time that, Super Mario World comes on after not playing for 2 weeks, and the controller feels like a little unfamiliar, but like that joy, like all of that old joy. Imagine something very pleasurable that you haven't done for a couple weeks and just how good that feels. It's like something like that a little bit, right? And just having kind of raising your sensitivity by like reducing that stimulus overload for a little while. It will give you not only a fresh perspective because you've allowed your brain to digest things and think about things and be kind of inspired, but it also just feels so good when you boot it up and you're like, oh, I miss this game and it's so fun and I love it. And just getting a little bit of distance there, I think is really healthy and really good. And I think it can just make us happier and healthier. I hope that this really reaches some ears that needed to hear it, because I am more guilty than anyone of in the past, like getting addicted to especially like early World of Warcraft, like 2005, 2004. World of Warcraft, playing vanilla. I didn't know what else to do with my life, right? I would just boot up the game and just be like, well, guess I'm gonna just grind some rocks outside of Orgrimmar. I don't know what I'm doing. And like, oh, I got to get my flask ready for the raid tonight. And like, okay, got to get ready. Got to summon a bunch of food and water because we're going to go to Molten Core, yada, yada, yada. And I would get home from work and I would play till like 3 or 4 a.m. Some days that was good. Sometimes you just want to binge and indulge in that. But it wasn't always the smart call. Like when I think back to my early 20s and when I was playing those games, I definitely turned down a lot of like fun social opportunities and things that would have been much better for me to do, that I wish I didn't do. Can only learn from experience, and regret, I think, is actually a good tool if you reflect on it. And then you can turn that from a regret to a life lesson learned. While there's the whole like, oh, no regrets or whatever, but like, use those regrets and use them to learn from and enrich your life in the future. You can't do anything about the past, but you can learn from it, and you can make sure that your future is richer and better and happy and healthier. The real main thing that I want to talk about here is just set your goals, accomplish your goals, make sure your goals are realistic, make sure you're happy about reaching those goals. And then when you do that, don't be incentivized to just always boot up the game and grind it out and just like sacrifice your happiness and the limited time in your lives to just sitting in front of these games if it's not making you happy. And I think that that's just a very important thing that I always want to be talking about. And I want to show that through example. This is quite a bit different from all my previous videos, but I hope you all are excited to join me on the transition and journey into trying new things and seeing how much fun and joy we can find in the wide world of games that are out there, and kind of bringing our unique viewpoint to all of those different genres. So as always, before I ramble on way too long, don't forget to have fun. Set your goals, reach them, just figure out what else you want to do with your life and reflect on that. So I got to edit this puppy down and then boot up Lost Ark for the first time. If you have any input or coaching or anything, it will be very welcome. I know zero going into this, so I would absolutely love your input if you want to hop on there and help me out. So as always, don't forget to have fun, and I'll see y'all soon. Goodbye.